Not a lot went right for my boys in the grand final this year. It was a disturbingly similar result to 2 years ago against Geelong, and after quarter time in this game against Brisbane, absolutely nothing went our way. We were completely picked apart and destroyed in every facet of the game. That being said, there were 5 moments which stood out to me as the moments which saw the game completely unravel for us, and any chance we had of winning was taken away from us. So this is going to be in a Sydney Swans fan's perspective. So sorry to Brisbane fans watching this. I'm not going to really talk too much about what Brisbane did right in this video. I don't want to sound like I'm discrediting their performance by just harping on about how bad we were. This is just simply my perspective as a Swans fan as to what went wrong in this game for us. But without further ado, let's just get on to the video. Now, this first moment happened only halfway through the first quarter, but I believe that it was a big turning point in this game. For the first 10 or so minutes of the opening quarter, both teams looked quite nervy, making basic skill errors and not really getting their game plans going. Brisbane had most of the territory going their way early, however they missed a couple of easy shots in front of goal. Eventually the ball found its way down the other end, and a Will Hayward snap from a play on to advantage saw the first goal get kicked. And this was followed up immediately by a brilliant Tom Papley snap, who had just come on the field from the bench and was celebrating at his energised best. Brisbane did then win the next centre clearance, however the ball was intercepted and bombed back outside defensive 50 by Nick Blakey, and the ball was going the Swans' way again. The ball bounced up toward Robbie Fox in a one-on-one, who would have been tackled and maybe caught holding the ball if he had have taken it cleanly. Instead, Fox cleverly tapped it over his head to Isaac Heaney sprinting past, and all of a sudden it looked like we were out again and about to score. At this point in time, when watching Isaac Heaney sprint down the wing, similarly to what he did when he kicked that match-winning goal against GWS, I genuinely thought that it was going to be our day. Unfortunately, Darcy Wilmot had other plans and managed to run Heaney down, not in time to catch him holding the ball, but he did apply enough pressure for him to completely stuff up the kick and put it straight down the throat of Harris Andrews. Tom Papley was on out the back, and if Heaney was able to run forward, take another bounce, and put it deep inside forward 50, we for sure would have had a third goal in a row in the space of about a minute and a half. I truly believe that this rundown tackle from Darcy Wilmot had a big impact on the final score, which may sound silly to say considering that it was only one extra goal and the final margin was 10 goals. However, if we had have put this through and the momentum continued going our way, who's to say we couldn't have kicked another goal or another 2 goals and gotten 5 goals up in the first quarter? That would have put Brisbane on the back foot and had us in prime position to go on and win the game. But instead, Brisbane turned over the ball and eventually they got it down their end and kicked their first goal of the day through Kai Lohmann, followed up by another Kai Lohmann goal just 30 seconds later. What could have been in an alternate timeline. The next moment I want to highlight was also in the first quarter. The game was on the balance when this happened. Brisbane were about to enter their forward line again, and the ball had spilt to the ground level. Nick Blakey went to pick the ball up, but when he saw an opponent coming from the other direction, instead of just picking the ball up, worrying about only the ball and charging away forward, he decided to drive his head into Callum Archie's hips and try and draw a high free kick. The umpire was having none of it. McCluggage swooped in and kicked the goal, all the while Nick Blakey was arguing with the umpire about a high free kick that he thinks he should have gotten. Now, in my opinion, this was the correct call from the umpire. I think it was just a very, very poor act from Nick Blakey trying to draw the high free kick and then playing for the free kick afterwards. Like, seriously, whatever happened to playing to the whistle? Even if it was a free kick, you just have to continue going after the ball. Playing for free kicks like that, exaggerating the contact, in my opinion, is just pathetic. And this was a really, really poor moment from Nick Blakey. And it really allowed Brisbane to gain ascendancy late in that first quarter. Now we move on to the second quarter where things are getting a little bit dicey for the Swans. We're down by 17 points, which is by no means an insurmountable margin. However, Brisbane are starting to kick away a little bit. Luckily, we're back in the centre of the ground though for the centre bounce, and Brodie Grundy is going up against Brisbane's second ruckman in Joe Danaher, so it should be an easy hit out for him. But unfortunately, this isn't the case as Danaher just shoves Brodie Grundy out of the way. I could not believe this when I saw this live. This is supposedly $1 million ruckman, our big recruit of the off-season, just getting shoved out of the way by someone who isn't even a ruckman. I just couldn't believe it. Now, Grundy was awesome earlier on in the season. There was a time where he was looking like he potentially could squeeze into the All-Australian team. However, he has really dropped off in the second half of the season, and especially in the final series. He got beaten by Jordan Sweet in the preliminary final, and he got beaten by Darcy Fort and Joe Danaher in this game. And really, you've got to do better than this. Just getting tossed away by the opposition's backup ruckman is just not good enough. Moving on to the next crucial moment in this game, and this one was really the moment that I had resigned myself. I knew that we were done. We were not a chance. We've all seen the goal. We've all seen the celebration. Eric Hipwood, I don't know how he managed that from that pocket. We were under siege at that point. Brisbane were just absolutely dominating through the middle of the ground. We couldn't get it past the halfway point of the field. The ball went inside forward 50 for the Lions again. Kai Lohmann found the ball in his hands again. At that point, he'd already kicked 3 goals on us. He was looking like the favourite for the Norm Smith medal at that point. And my words were, oh no, not Kai Lohmann, he's too good. But then when he handballed it off to Hipwood, I was like, okay, that's great, he's less good. I was genuinely relieved. I just thought he was going to put it out on the floor or something. And then he kicked it from the pocket, running away from the goals on his left boot, and I mean, that was it. There was no coming back from that. The margin had just blown out to 35 points, and that was it. There was no way we were coming back from that point. There had been crazier comebacks in the season, but I just knew that there was no shot. Everything was going Brisbane's way, and that kick really just summed up their day. Now, for this last moment, I already said I had resigned myself to the fact that we were going to lose this game. However, if there was any shot at all that we were going to stage a incredible comeback, then Hayden McLean, late in the second quarter, just had to put this goal through. He was about 40 metres out, directly in front. If he kicked it, it was unlikely, but there was a chance. And he just succumbed to the pressure, unfortunately. I don't think it really would have made a difference. Well, maybe it would have. Maybe it would have been a slightly more competitive result. I don't think we were going to win that, even if he did put that through. However, that was just the nail in the coffin. And then I'm pretty sure Brisbane went down the other end and kicked a goal almost immediately. And then that was it. Curtains. 46 points at halftime. You're not coming back from that in a grand final. And we just gave up. We threw in the towel. Just like in 2022, a completely insipid performance.